This is Soldiers Pass Trail in Sedona, Arizona, and this is my trail vlog 26 on the road to 500 trail vlogs. This was one of my favorites. It's a trail I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I knew it was a short and sweet trail in Sedona. There's a couple places to hop out and stop, and it's the perfect trail to bring your family along. They got the Devil's Sinkhole, they got the 7 sacred pools, and this is my full trail guide. All right, one of the most important things to know about this trail is you do need a permit. And that is how you get through this locked gate in the parking lot. There was 2 people who were actually looking to do this trail when I was here that could not do it because they did not have a permit. So listen to the info. All right, we're at Soldiers Pass, and this is a unique trail because you actually need to get a permit in advance and secure the day. So you have to pick the day that you're going to go, pay for the permit. It was only about $6, but then they'll give you a permit that comes with a code, and that gate code corresponds to one of the locks on this gate. So that's the only way you're gonna be able to get through this trail. They also do a limited amount per day. I don't know how many it is, but it's not a ton. All right, I decided to look it up again, and it's actually 12 people a day they only let on these trails. So as you can see here, there's a calendar. If it's lit up in blue, it's gonna tell you how many vehicles are left on that day that are able to give out a permit. And you are going to then click the day you want, sign in, so you're gonna need an account, and then you can go ahead and purchase your pass. It's only $6, so not too bad. I'll link this page in the description box below. I also got to print it out. It says specifically, print out your permit so you have it with you, not just a digital version. So that's a big tip. So let's get going. And so the reason they have you print out your permit is because that's when it gives you the gate codes for that day. They are periodically changing. And I think this goes without saying, but when you go through the gate, be sure to stop and close it behind you. Now you can keep a digital copy of the permit if you want, but again, it's just kind of confusing on their site, so I just printed it just to be safe. This trail is also open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., so you're only going to be able to get access if you go in between those time windows. Also, if you have multiple vehicles in your group, each vehicle needs their own permit. All right, this trail should take you about an hour long. It actually took us an hour and 45 minutes, but that includes the time we stopped at the sinkhole, at the 7 sacred pools, and obviously I'm getting my drone and cameras all set up, so I would still budget about an hour and a half if I were you. It was 1.49 miles long, and Trails Off-Road gives this a 3-3 on the difficulty scale, so it's moderate. Definitely would say a high clearance 4x4 vehicle, but it's also very stock friendly for a 4x4. Nothing too difficult, didn't need any spotters for anything, 1 or 2 rocky hill climbs, but nothing that bad. Obviously, broken record here, I know if you've seen my videos, you're gonna wanna air down because it is pretty rocky. As you can see, there's little boulders and rocks everywhere, so it does get a little bit bouncy if you're at highway PSIs. If you've been to Sedona, it is blatantly obvious about how beautiful it is. I mean, that's probably the reason you're in Sedona, right? And this whole trail, the whole time, is so beautiful. You got the red rocks in every direction. I mean, it is just breathtaking, to be honest. So you're going to want to take it slow and just take in the scenery. Now, sometimes the trees get a little bit thick, so you're not really seeing as much of the red rock, but the trail as a whole is very beautiful. At 0.16 miles into the trail, you're going to take your first sharp right turn, and you're going to start heading up a hill, and this is going to take you to the Devil's Kitchen sinkhole. So this hill is probably going to be the hardest part of the entire trail. And as you can see, there's some big rocks and some small little ledges, but nothing too crazy. I did the whole entire hill in 4 high, although at the very end, I did kick it into 4 low for a second just to get up this ledge, and then I made it up just fine. Now you're also seeing some hikers. So what I did notice on this trail, there are a lot more hikers than Jeeps. and they definitely walk onto the Jeep trail. So I don't know if that's because they are wanting to or don't realize that this is not the hiking trail, but just something to keep in mind. Always give them the right of way for sure, just like anything with like animals or horses and stuff. Let the hikers go by, and then you can enjoy the trail after they go. And be prepared for some weird looks from the hikers, because it definitely felt like they were looking at me like, what are you doing with a Jeep on a hiking trail? Even though there's clearly two separate trails. I actually found them on our trail more often than not. But when you're at the sinkhole and you're at the 7 sacred pools, the hiking and the off-road trails do intersect. So just be careful. So as you come to the top of this flat little section here, it is actually where you're going to go right up to the Devil's Sinkhole, and you're going to want to stop and park in this area because this is where the trail ends. You'll just turn around and head back the way you came when you're done checking out the area. So the first time I was ever here was actually hiking, and I thought it was the largest sinkhole in Arizona. But it's actually just the largest sinkhole in the Sedona area, but still pretty impressive. We got out and just hung around this area for about 10 minutes, just taking in the sights. It's a really good place just to relax. So when you're done looking at the sinkhole, you're going to turn around and just head back the way you came, heading all the way down that rocky hill climb, and then you'll just turn right to get back onto the main trail. Okay, so after coming down that hill and turning right, you are back on the main trail. You're going to drive about another 3/4 mile up until your next turnoff, which will be heading toward the 7 sacred pools. The fact that they only let 12 vehicles out on this trail per day is actually kind of nice, just because you don't have to worry about too much oncoming traffic or just traffic in general. I think of a trail like Broken Arrow, and that gets really busy and really popular. And this trail's so small and narrow, I don't even think it could handle it. So that's probably why they do it. Okay, so right here, it's 1 mile in, and you can turn right to go to the 7 sacred pools. I decided to actually go left. I wanted to go all the way to the end of the trail and hit the 7 sacred pools on the way out. You guys can do totally whatever you want, but that's just what we decided to do. You know you're getting close to the end of the trail when it starts getting a little bit less rocky and a lot more sandy. And then eventually you're going to come to a dead end. It just does a loop and it sends you right back the way you came. You're at the end of the trail after 1.48 miles, and there's a loop for you to turn around. That's what we did, but we weren't done yet. We headed back to the 7 sacred pools. Right here is the turnoff for the 2nd sacred pool, so we're going to hang a left here, and we got some lost hikers again, and we're going to head on over there, and you're going to see it's just a short drive, but it's another good place to park the Jeep and get out and just take in the beautiful views. That's a really cool thing about this trail is it not only has that sinkhole, but it's also got 7 pools right here. So there's 2 pullouts on this trail where you can get out, hang out. Now you are going to interact with a bunch of these hikers, which is fine, and you do get some kind of weird looks like, is a Jeep even allowed out here?
But yes, we're obviously allowed out here. It's a really cool spot anyway. Like, have a snack, count all the 7 pools. This is really pretty out here, and you don't have to hike to it. It's better in a Jeep. Okay, just finished Broken Arrow Trail. It was awesome. I think it took an hour and a half, but we were literally getting out, stopping, taking pictures. Really fun trail, not that difficult. I think it's maybe a 3 or 4 on the difficulty scale. Get out here, try this trail. Be sure to like, subscribe, because we've got a lot more videos coming soon. Thanks.